Bump, bump. Bring. Oh, look at this. Look what you got to deal with today. I'll give you a little laser. Pew, 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 pew. Anthony Witrado decided not to join me today because he probably is still sleeping. Marcus Grant is out, so you're going to have to deal with me going solo. And I was trying to find Jason Derulo riding solo because Carlo was talking about riding solo. And I was like, oh, I got to find the song to play it, but I don't have it queued up correctly, so I'm not going to be able to do it. But anyway, welcome to the Blue Review. The Blue Review is, as always, presented and powered by LAX. We're taking off. Learn more about all the incredible changes happening now at LAX by going to lawa.org/ESPN. The last time that I did a show like this solo was probably about 2018 when I was at another, was it 2018? Yeah, probably 2018 World Series when I was at Dodgers Nation doing post-game shows from my bedroom, and I was screaming and yelling because Dave Roberts was making bad decisions in this series against the Red Sox where they got absolutely destroyed. So I haven't done so like this in quite some time, so please, I'm going to have the chat. I'm actually going to take my computer. I'm going to put it right here. And I want you to put some questions into the chat, and we're going to go just by that. I'm going to be really engaged with the chat if I possibly can be. But for the most part, where I do want to start is obviously there's a lot of things happened yesterday. I'm not going to get into everything that happened yesterday because I don't think this is the place for it. But there is just one thing that I did think was very, very funny. I didn't realize that Shohei Ohtani was an outfielder. Now, he is not. I don't remember. I don't know when the last time he played in the outfield was, but apparently Shohei Ohtani is an outfielder now, and he's one of the best outfielders, making the best catches in the history of catches. So that's a whole another thing that I think will be very funny. I'm sure that will never get talked about on this station for the rest of the day. But let's start here. There's a lot of guys that have been pretty incredible for this team this year. This year is they've all been really good, but there's a bunch of guys that I do want to talk a little bit about. I know that Marcus and I talked about Max Muncy yesterday, and we got into a little bit of Tommy Edman, but it's really underrated what these two dudes are doing because we talk about Shohei Ohtani and how great he is, and we should talk about him once a week at least, about the amazingness of Shohei Ohtani, and I can actually do a little bit more on him about his struggles in a little bit. But Tommy Edman and Max Muncy are just two dudes that go out there every single night, play the right way, and just get stuff done. I wanted to say a different word, but I'm going to stick with stuff. Max Muncy has been nothing but incredible. What he's done at third base has been just mind-boggling. He was a butcher in the field, and now in talking with Travis yesterday on the DeMarco and Travis show, he put it this way, like, is he the best third baseman that the Dodgers have ever had? That's including Adrian Beltre and Ron Cey and Justin Turner, so numbers-wise, offensively, I think yes. The answer to that question is yes. He is the best third baseman in the history of the Dodgers, which is a crazy thing to say because they've been around for quite some time. And I don't know if I totally agree with the best third baseman. I think it's a little bit of what you're seeing right now, your prisoner of the moment type stuff, where Muncy is still, I think he's great. I'm going to go Justin Turner. I know all of the numbers lean heavy towards Max Muncy, but what Justin Turner did for this team and helped turn around where they were in the early 2000s and through the McCourt years, when Justin Turner got here, things started to change, and he was another guy just like Max Muncy that they just took off the scrap heap. They're like, the Mets didn't want him. He was just kind of DFA'd, and the Dodgers said, hey, let's bring him in here, and he became the heart and soul. If you ask Cappy, it's all about heart and soul. He was the heart and soul of that team. He was the leader in the clubhouse. He was a great defensive third baseman, and he also was really good offensively. For a while, he was the home run leader in the postseason for the Dodgers. I think Max Muncy has passed that number, but at the same time, to me, Justin Turner is going to take that for me because of what he did to help transform this franchise into what they are today, the juggernaut that they are today. Max Muncy, that's not taking anything away from Max Muncy, because Muncy and Turner, it's like it's picking nits in that situation. Like it's one better than the other. You just have to really start going through numbers and like, oh well, his OPS and his WRC plus and all these nerd stats that Jeff Spiegel loves so much. If you start going through all of that, I think Max Muncy's numbers overall will be better. But at the same time, I just for what Justin Turner did for this team, I think he was more important to the team itself than Max Muncy. But Max Muncy is so incredibly important now. Now, like I said before, this is a prisoner of moment thing because what Max Muncy has turned into after the last couple of years is getting close to what now at the end of Max Muncy's career, could he be higher up than Justin Turner? Sure, because think about what he's done over the last couple of years. He's changed his defense around. His defense is now one that when a ball goes to sharply hit to third base, I expect Max Muncy to play. Not that I think he can make the play or just like I cringe a little. I think he's going to make the play. He's made multiple plays going to his left, going across the foul line and making great plays and gunning a runner out and sometimes even a very, very fast runner out at first base. Now Freddie Freeman helps with all of that because he's an amazing first baseman. But Max Muncy is doing things that he wasn't able to do. He was a butcher. Balls were getting by. He was kicking them. He was booting them. And now for the most part, everything that comes his way is he is getting guys out. And I trust Max Muncy at third base implicitly. Not only that, he's starting to become the leader in the clubhouse. Now, we always talk about this on all of our shows, like what makes a leader. It's not always the best player that makes the leader. Sometimes it depends on who. It can be somebody different. Max Muncy is becoming the vocal leader in that clubhouse. You can see it day in and day out of what he's doing when he's going and talking to guys. Freddie Freeman's obviously one of those guys also, but I think Max Muncy is a big heavy leader in that because he's been around for so long. It's just amazing that he was just thrown away. He did not want to play baseball anymore. He considered quitting the game when he's talking about on Mookie Betts' podcast. But now he's here and he's now a 3-time World Series champion, trying to be a 4-time World Series champion. He passed Ron Say for second most home runs in LA Dodger history, now he's just behind Eric Karros, and who that's obviously a Dodger legend. And all of his numbers are just quickly rising. If you're going to be a quickly rising offensive player, along with having your defense is starting to get fixed, now you're becoming that heart and soul, that clubhouse leader. By the time he's done, he could pass Justin Turner in my mind. Most people have him passed already. I think Travis had him as the best Dodger third baseman of all time. I'm not ready to do that yet, but I think when it's all is said and done, then yes, I do think he would be the all-time leader in home run. Just a reminder, go into the chat. I'm looking at it right now. Look, got my computer right here. So if you have anything in here, I'll go through it and kind of mess around. Hawaiian Kira, aloha everyone. Aloha Hawaiian Kira. I'm going to be in Hawaii in the middle of August. Going to get away for like 6 days, and it just feels so nice to be able to say that I'm going to be gone for a week. I haven't had a vacation in probably over a year and a half. Yeah, it's been a little while. Laura, yes, Muncy's defense has been improved significantly, totally. JF, I thought K-Tuck signing was bad, but nothing compared to Juan Soto. This is a really good topic, JF. I appreciate you bringing this up. This is actually one of my favorite topics to talk about for whatever reason. The Juan Soto contract is one of the most ridiculous contracts I've ever seen. The amount of money that he made and the amount of years that he got for a guy that is a one-dimensional player is insane to me. Everybody that's sitting here talking about how the Dodgers are ruining baseball and giving Shohei Ohtani all this money and paying Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is a problem too. We can get to that after the Juan Soto portion of it. But Juan Soto, what he did, he is getting so much money to do nothing. He's not a good defender. He's not good in the outfield. I know he has a Gold Glove. I don't know how he got that. He's a tremendous batter. He is a terrifying hitter. When he's at the plate, I think he's going to do something, whether it's walk or hit a massive home run. He is a I'm afraid of this guy player. But look what he does when he gets to teams. When he got to the Padres, they didn't make the playoffs. When he got to the Mets, they didn't make the playoffs last year. I know they got to the World Series with Aaron Judge and the Yankees. That worked out well for them. But when he went to the Mets, and that's who they're playing, the Dodgers are playing today. When he went to the Mets, They didn't make the playoffs. And now in year 2, you think that would all switch around? They have the high, along with the Dodgers, the highest payroll in all of baseball. They're the worst team in the National League East. They are the worst team. They are terrible defensively. Every time I go on TikTok before I go to sleep, because I like to scroll through and get Dodger highlights or whatever, silly highlights of the Mets. It's like in the algorithm now. There's a ball being dropped in the outfield. There's a ball being dropped in the infield. They're kicking a ball. A guy that's an easy play in the outfield hits off their glove, and there's a inside the park home run. That team is terrible right now, and they're actually been terrible for 2 years. And Juan Soto is not a guy that you give that much money to, and when he doesn't have an economy to himself, just like Shohei Ohtani did. So Juan Soto, it's just such a ridiculous statement that he is getting that type of money. Now, I don't blame anybody for getting their money, but the fact is that was a bad contract, and I'm so glad the Dodgers didn't sign him. Now, the Kyle Tucker portion of that's been a problem. Kyle Tucker is getting paid $60 million, and that $60 million is not actually $60 million. With this going over the luxury tax and everything that plays into it, it's actually going into it's getting way up into almost $120 million for 1 year. He's getting paid double what he actually was given because of all those things. So to be a guy like Kyle Tucker, who has not been good defensively, not been good offensively, and making that much money, that's bad. I know I picked him to be the guy that was going to be great in the second half. He's done absolutely nothing so far. It can still change. He looked better going into the All-Star break, but as of right now, this guy has been an absolute mess, and it doesn't actually look like anymore that it's going to get better. I hope and pray that it does, and I know that I picked it. That's maybe a hopeful, just in my heart, I want him to start doing well because this is just starting to get brutal. But he needs to start picking it up. I don't know what it is about his swing. He looks like he's hacking at everything in the outfield. He looks slow. And this has never been Kyle Tucker. In Houston, he was one of the best hitters in baseball. The first half of the season before he got injured in Chicago, he looked like one of the best hitters in baseball. He doesn't seem like he's injured here. He doesn't seem like he should not have any pressure with where he's hitting in the lineup. He's hitting sixth, and they even push him down sometimes. There's no pressure on him besides money, and he is consistently not doing what he needs to do. And it's really a frustrating thing overall to have him out there. Again, this guy needs to figure it out because that contract and that amount of years, it's not going away, because after the second year, it's a player option. If you're getting paid that much money on this team where you have a chance to win the World Series despite how bad you're playing, why would you opt out of that? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sure it doesn't make any sense to you, and that's just just bad situations all around. All right, Greg, you deserve it. Thank you, Shelly. I appreciate that. When does Emmet get optioned to AAA? It's not going to be for a little while, but I don't even think Emmet will. The kid 2112. I don't think he's going to get optioned to AAA. I have mentioned it many times in the past here on the Blue Review that I think that's probably the best space for him to figure some things out. He looked really bad on Sunday. It looked like a bad Emmet Sheehan. He's been getting away with smoke and mirrors for a while. I'm not an Emmet Sheehan fan. I'm not afraid to say that I don't think he's that great of a pitcher, and I would move him immediately. If someone comes in asking for Emmet Sheehan and you can get a good piece, if let's say you needed a catcher or you needed another starting pitcher, or if Detroit's all right, we'll give you Skubal, but we want a front line, we want a starting pitcher that's in major league ready in Emmet Sheehan, or we want a guy and a whole bunch of prospects, have at it, all yours. I do think he has a lot of talent. I think he can be a good pitcher. He's not that guy now, but I do think that at some point he's not going to happen. But I think going down to AAA and figuring those things out and letting him kind of figure out how to keep his velocity steady, how to find the strike zone, and be able to attack more of the zone like Justin Robleski does a little bit, I think that would help him. But he's not going anytime soon. I think they're going to just move him into the bullpen. I'm afraid when he's on the mound. I don't think that he's the guy that a lot of people think he is. I think that he could be a problem in the postseason opposed to a help in the postseason. But, we'll see. Tucker's swing looks uncomfortable. Hawaiian here? Yeah, absolutely does. The kid, maybe we only have Tuck maybe we only have Tuck him for 1 year when MLB gets shut down after the season. That's a whole nother conversation. But I I don't think they're going to do anything to pass contracts. I don't think you actually can't go back and change past contracts. That's the whole Tarek Skubal argument. Is that if you get Tarek Skubal and sign him before you go to the lockout, he's yours because it's grandfathered in. So I don't think the Tucker. I think the Dodgers may argue that, hey, this was not under the rules. We shouldn't have done this. We understand this one that we shouldn't have done that one. So if you want to mess around with that one, sure, go ahead, do whatever you got to do. If you want to take the Tucker contract, we get it. It's totally understandable. But unfortunately that's not going to happen. Juan here. What is the latest on Gavin Stone and Ben Kasparius? Gavin Stone was still injured the last I saw it. I haven't looked at Ben Kasparius in quite some time. I could do a little research on it, but I have not heard anything about him, and that tells me that either A, he's not performing very well, or B, he's also injured. But I've not gone and looked at his stats in AAA. I've been following more so guys like the outfielders and seeing which outfielder in AAA could be possibly moved for Tarek Skubal. That's another thing too. Like I do think that I've changed my mind. You're allowed to change minds when you're in this business. I know we're supposed to have a take and stick with it and don't let it go, but I am changing it. I've moved my take on Tarek Skubal to, I think they should really go out and try and make it happen. I don't know what's going on with Shohei Ohtani. I don't know what's going on with Tyler Glasnow. So if you can go into the postseason and have Blake Snell, who looks like he's coming back, Yamamoto, and Tarek Skubal as your 1, 2, 3. I think you're looking much better. Justin Robleski as your 4. I think those things are important now, and I also love the fact that it would be taking them away from everybody else. And I'd also love that every single team in Major League Baseball will be so mad and just leaning into that villainous that the Dodgers are doing. So I think if you can make some type of move for Tarek Skubal, they should go out and do it because they have the best chance. They have the most stuff. If they want outfielders, we got a plethora down in AAA and AA and single A, all the way up and down. There's outfielders galore. You want major league starting ready players, you have major league starting pitchers that you can move. You have guys that, like, if as long as Tommy Edman, which I was starting to talk about earlier, stays healthy, which I know is a big old if. Alex Freeland is not somebody that is going to be coming up anytime soon. Again, he'll find his time's up, but he's not going to be as involved as, if your infield is Freddie Freeman. I know they're older, but Freddie Freeman, Tommy Edman, Mookie Betts, and Max Muncy, because Max Muncy is going to stick around for at least another year, you'd expect. Then Freeland is going to be, you can figure out another second baseman moving. I would move a lot to get Tarek Skubal. I think that part's important. With Robo having a great, and this is from, sorry, I want to read your name here, Raul Hernandez. With Robo having a great season, do you see him cracking the postseason rotation, or will be a bullpen piece? I think for the Raul, it just honestly depends on health, and that's just what I was kind of talking about, and depends on if they make a move at the deadline. I think as of right now, today, he is in the rotation. Because that means Shohei Ohtani's not back. That means Glasnow's not back. That means Snell's not back. But if everybody is healthy, if we're talking Ohtani, Snell, Glasnow, then no, he does not crack the rotation. I think it really could. I mean, well, let me take that back for a second. If Tyler Glasnow comes back and he is pitching really, really poorly, and it's just not working out for him, he just can't find the plate. He's giving up home runs. He's giving up hits. He's giving up runs. Robleski can, but I don't foresee that happening. They're putting Glasnow on the bench and holding him back because they want him ready for the postseason. So to me, it sounds like Yamamoto, Ohtani, Snell, Glasnow, 1 through 4, and then Robleski will be in the bullpen, and that's a great dude to have in your bullpen. And you know that he can do it too because he did it at the beginning of the year. I think it really, what you have to do with Robleski, though, is you can't just say, okay, that's it, you're in the bullpen. You need to start putting him in the bullpen. He's stretched out right now to be a starter, and going from a starter to a long reliever can work, where you go from 7 innings that you can go through down to 3. But I think if you're going to move him to the pen, to really start thinking, okay, September, the beginning of September or the middle of September, kind of moving him into that role so he's ready to be in that, so he can have maybe a back-to-back, or you can go just the 3 and just figuring himself out. So that it will start to change for Robleski if everybody is healthy come September. But as of right now, today, he is in the rotation. Shelly, I doubt the Dodgers will get Skubal. If they want him, they'll get him, but I don't know if they actually do want to go out and get him. Let's see, Juan, can you imagine if they pull it off? An interesting take. I can't see what this one is. Bring a leaf. So Shelly Lawrence, maybe we will. I just think Friedman does not go big at the deadline. I could be wrong. I mean, we don't know what Friedman does. For the most part, Friedman does not want to go, but he has in the past. When necessary, he goes big. He went big for Trey Turner. He went big for Max Scherzer. He went big for Manny Machado. He's gone big for big names when he needed to. The whole idea is that he doesn't need to this year. And this one is not so much about necessity if you go after Skubal. It's more so going after to a block. Because imagine, just think about where, if you don't go after Skubal, you don't get him. And let's say the Brewers go get him, or the Phillies go get him, or the Braves go get him, the teams that actually have a chance against the Dodgers in the postseason, that becomes scary because then go look at Jacob Mizorowski and Tarik Skubal 1-2. That's a scary one too. That matches up perfectly with a Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani 1-2. Now then it becomes the 3 and 4 starters, and I trust our 3 and 4 starters. But then you can do the same thing in Philadelphia. It's Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo. It's Zach Wheeler and Tarik Skubal. That's scary. If it's in Atlanta, it's Bryce Elder and Chris Sale and Tarik Skubal. That makes the pitching pretty much dead even with the Dodgers, and that becomes another situation. Now it becomes about it offensively and defensively, and I've said it very many times. I think the Dodgers win the World Series because of their defense, because they're so seamless defense and consistently make the right plays. Every once in a while they'll botch something, but for the most part, they're sound defensively. I also think the trade deadline is a very interesting conversation too, because think about it. Will Smith and what's going on with him at catcher, Shohei Ohtani and him being injured to Snell and the Glasnow part that we've been talking about over and over again. But what the Dodgers do at the deadline will tell you everything that you need to know. Because Ohtani's not going to be back until pitching probably until mid-August, if not later. Will Smith's not back until at the earliest August 15th. Snell looks like he's getting back. We have no idea what's going on with Glasnow. What the Dodgers do at the trade deadline will tell you everything that they are thinking right now. If they do nothing, if they listen to Dave Roberts and Dave Roberts says, like, oh, we may be sellers, and they just move Eric Lauer for organizational depth, then they feel good that everybody's going to come back and everybody's going to be healthy. If they do nothing, if they do stuff, if they go get a catcher, if they go get a pitcher, if they go get something specifically like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, or okay, that's interesting. If they go get a catcher, something's wrong with Will Smith. If they get like a high-level catcher, or at least somebody that can back up Dalton Rushing to an extent. Now, I'm not talking about Ben Rortvedt. I'm talking about a name guy that is going to really split time with Dalton Rushing. That means something's really bad with going wrong with Will Smith, and there's something more to that neck than they really want to do. Obviously, they're not going to lay their cards out now, but if they go out and get Tarik Skubal, or they go out and get a different starting pitcher, that would be even more concerning. If they go get a different high-level starting pitcher, then that means there's something wrong with either Glasnow or Ohtani, and they need to make sure that they are sound in their rotation, and they don't really trust Sasaki, or they don't trust Eric Lauer or Emmet Sheehan. I'm going to leave Justin Robleski out of it, but that means that they don't trust those guys going in. So the trade deadline, we're going to talk a lot about it over the next few weeks. Thank you everybody for being in here for the YouTube. Hey, look at that. Got through a solo show, just speaking straight for 30 minutes. My voice is a little sore, but I'm going to do it all over again on Sedano on Cap. That's coming up next. Thank you to everyone for being in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks to LAX, and that'll do it for the Blue Review. We'll see you on Monday. See ya.